everyone, this is Oak Chef Cooker, and I'm back with more One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. And there's a new update in the game with something called a soul map. Show you something. I'll show you it when I get into a operation. Oh, damn it, not Chopper, not Chopper! I don't want to play Chopper! By the way, in days past, I've been watching Mythbusters on my Amazon Prime account. Amazon Prime has Discovery Plus on it, and if you're willing to pay the amount, you can get Mythbusters. Warning, there are a few missing episodes, but it's still a good watch and a good blast from the past to watch. Watch Adam Savage, Jamie Hydeman, Byron Tori, Malachi, Grant Imahara, busting this all the way back in 2010. And yes, I do have all of the Busters memorized. I don't have the crew memorized though. Alright, here's the soul map. The soul map allows you to use acquired souls to further enhance your characters. Even characters who have maxed out their growth map will receive these additional enhancements. Reach each island and spend the required souls to boost stats and learn new skills. Stats increased gained on the soul map will apply to all characters. And I don't have a single damn soul. And only have the first soul map. I have no idea how to unlock the rest of the soul maps, but we'll just have to keep playing and figure it out. I like the Shuriken Bomb. My current episode is Season 3, Episode 4, Elevator of Death. Jamie Heidemann and a Savage attempt to save themselves in a falling elevator by jumping just before it hits bottom. Then they challenge their imaginations and building skills as they try to create a homemade levitation machine. And the homemade levitation machines they've made in these episodes, if you have the wiring skills, can be made with a $200 budget. And if you have the batteries or fuel on you, you'd be able to go far without a license. Hell, if I had the wiring skills in order to wire up a few leaf blowers, make a homemade air pocket underneath me that's able to support 280 pounds, and had something for propulsion, I'd be able to go from my house to McDonald's, try the Gurma Shake, come back and have enough fuel to go down the street. Sadly, I don't know how to create a circuit, let alone wire a few things together. I don't know how to create a air bladder that would be able to support 280 pounds, and or create anything that was able to lift 280 pounds. You know what? Let's just focus on this episode. Let's just focus on this episode of Pirate Warriors. Stop talking about my inadequacy. Well, it's not really inadequate. A lot of people don't know how to make a circuit. Just because I'm highly intelligent doesn't mean I don't know how to do other things that make me look intelligent. And again, I can't program either. I'm not good at online gaming. I'm not good at math. And I have an IQ below 70, so can't look smart that way. Yeah, I have no idea how I can make myself sound any more inferior. Why does it look like Mr. One has a hole in his head? Here's a fun fact. Did you know bamboo was actually used to torture back in the 12th century?
Conjure up a little backdraft to get things moving. In Adam's mind, right now, he should be blowing along like the first leaves of fall. Team Savage has a problem. Fresh from their successful propulsion test, Heinemann's heroes are working on lift.
I'm about to be disowned by every surfer I know.
Old Yella is going under the knife. This hole is for the downdraft that will inflate their skirt.
Jamie, are you feeling confident?
Not at all. It works. They have liftoff, but they also have a problem.
It's like practically impossible to keep it stable.
It's less hoverboard than wobbleboard.
You're gonna have a wider base. That's all I can say. Because it's like trying to balance a board on a pole.
Jamie has a hunch he can steady the ship by adding an outrigger.
This is a fancy invention.
This is actually going to work. What I've done is I put some additional support on the top of the ladder where it comes out from the side of the surfboard. And that'll keep it more stable because it can't roll around the edge of the surfboard now. It's got to be compressed.
The last component, thrusters, times 3.
You know, I kept saying that you were going to come up with something, but in the back of my head, I was going,
Surf's up for Heineman's Heroes. At the end of the first work day of the challenge, they have a flying, self-propelling levitation machine.
I don't know what the top speed on it is, but it was starting to take off there. And if we get the control set up on this, I think it's going to work like a dream.
Later, nerves of steel in the elevator of death.
we are cutting the cable.
After the break, dirty tricks in the levitation machine build up.
I don't see that it's better the competition a little bit.
In July 1945, a terrible tragedy at the Empire State Building gave rise to a miraculous survival story.
An elevator plunged down 80 floors, cables and debris tumbling over it.
It was a drop of 1,000 feet, and inside, a young elevator operator. She was found alive in the basement by a heroic Coast Guardsman.
The girl inside was badly crushed and burned. I got her out, gave her morphine, and treated her wounds as best I knew how.
But how did she survive that crash? Did she jump up? It's something for the Mythbusters to ponder back in the Hotel Royal.
We've got the location, we've got our elevator shaft. I'm gonna go out and get all the rigging equipment that I need so that we can pull it to the top and drop it. You've got the hard job of getting Buster to jump at the last second.
This experiment has 2 engineering challenges. First, to figure out a way to raise and drop the elevator. Second, to rig the victim to jump up at just the right moment. Jamie, Harry, and Scotty are dissecting the human jump. In the short moment of acceleration, the average top speed generated was just over 8 feet per second. Now, they need the victim to replicate that. And here's the victim now.
We need to figure out how to make Buster jump. I think I'm going to have to use some kind of spring because I don't want to go for gunpowder.
No gunpowder. Good news for Buster. Instead, a kind of turbocharged pogo stick. A car spring inside overlapping tubes with a quick release catch. They'll rig Buster to sit on top. Scotty's specialty is working with metal. So in no time, she's created Buster's launcher.
Giant fantastic! Nice!
The spring is tensioned. And the quick release set.
Okay.
Then Buster is lowered into place.
Now that looks like a good jump to me. I'm not sure, but I think we have a pretty good shot at actually launching Buster up in the air pretty good. It's a powerful spring.
It's time for Buster to fly.
Okay, here we go. Well, that wasn't very much at all. Okay.
Attempt 1 was more a jiggle than a jump.
What can I say? Gotta keep tweaking.
To reduce the pogo stick's weight, Scotty's cutting out as much of the heavy metal cylinder as possible. She's adding a second spring for extra power. And spearing the whole assembly with lard to cut friction.
It's like French fries.
It's like about a half pound of lard on there.
When you have a giant box of lard, it's just so darn tempting.
Buster may at last be ready for his great leap forward.
All right. Well,
That was a good jump.
Spirits reached a maximum velocity of nearly 12.5 feet per second, compared to Jamie's 8 feet per second.
I think that's a good run. I think we're there. That was significantly more than what we got before. It looked like he jumped.
They solved half the elevator of death problem. Getting the Hotel 1's elevator working again lies ahead.
Bye-bye. See you later.
But first, there's a little matter of a levitation machine build-up.
You can come on in and shoot, but you three have to go away.
We would change our plans after seeing
Just
yours.
you go away.
Talk so much trash.
Team Savage needs to keep the lily pad flyer under wraps. It's showing all the mobility of a 2x4.
Today's task is to work on the propulsion of the hovercraft. You're going to start working on the pads, and I'm going to start working on the fan blades.
After laughing at Janie's propulsion fixation, Adam needs to get his craft moving. And fast.
That's it. That's all that's moving the air.
His leaf blower needs more bite. Something like this. The fan will sit inside a metal shroud. Its blast directed by rudders at the back.
That's not dangerous. Oh my God.
It's fair to say this is not strictly design intent for a leaf blower. Adams created a monster. Or is it just a monster problem?
No. That sounds bad. It's just too much torque for this motor. Please don't be too much torque for this motor.
It's too much torque. The tiny motor can't turn that big fan.
I'm scrapping this leaf blower motor. I'm going to stop trying to repair it and go for something like a chainsaw motor or a low-grade second-hand lawnmower motor.
A stickler might point out Adams already spent his $500.
Granted, I might have spent over $500 trying to get this to work, but in the end, the parts list for our hovercraft will still be under $500.
How did I know?
News of Adams' indiscretion has reached Heineman's heroes.
I think we can count on the fact that Adam's handicapped is probably Adam, and just because he gets the lawnmower doesn't mean he's actually going to make it work.
For Heineman's heroes, it would be all too easy to abandon the high road and stoop to cheating themselves. So that's exactly what they do. Quicker than you can say dastardly scoundrel, they bought and fitted another blower to help with lift.
Now, if this works the way I plan, the extra lift that we're getting from the extra leaf blower will actually also make the thrust from the 3 leaf blowers more effective.
The new improved Heineman hoverboard is a hit. And ready to race.
That's it.
That was the difference. Let's go home.
Yeah. Adam will be here all night anyway.
For his replacement motor, Adam has settled on a 1-horsepower leaf trimmer.
Dude, this is just going to plug right into the fan. I don't have to modify anything.
Again, Adam's pushing the motor's limits.
Guys ready?
A Typhoon, this ain't.
Nothing to say? I'm thinking about it. It's just a disaster.
It's a beautiful thing. We put so much time and love into it, and it's not working. I'm brokenhearted, and so is everybody else, and Adam's coming.
There's nothing for it. They have to mount the engine and hope for the best. You ready? The lily pad flyer is going nowhere in a hurry, and Adams in the fast lane to Molucca.
I'm out of ideas. I just ran out just a second. Oh, when a pat comes from the cameraman, you know it's really, really bad.
But then, out of desperation, a plan.
Pizza box wings. This is great.
We're at the Icarus part of the evening. I think you know what happened to Icarus. You know, I think we might have to. I can only pray for one thing, and that is the total failure of Jamie's ring.
Later, can Adam avoid humiliation in the great levitation machine race? But coming up next, the elevator of death. I think Buster's toast.
Listen, do not, under any circumstances,
Try this at home.
we're what you call experts.
We do this for a living.
2 words. Nasty.
It's nasty enough inside the Hotel Royal for the Mythbusters to cover up with dust masks. There's the cleanup to be done, and Jamie's got to get the elevator working again.
Oh, it's going up. It went up.
Did the car go up?
Yep.
Well, that's a good sign. It is awfully stiff, but it is moving, so where there's movement, there can be improved movement. And I had an idea that I might be able to modify an electric vehicle that I built. It's a prototype that I have back at the shop.
Jamie sees the lad as having applications in firefighting and law enforcement. But today, it's got to lift an elevator. Remember, the elevator hasn't moved in years.
That's moving. Oh, okay.
Maybe that looks great.
Yeah, baby!
Going up, second floor, dust and echoes.
Do you have batteries for these? I think Jamie's ring is a classic Mythbusters rig. You know, we have to lift an elevator, and Jamie says, I've got a robot in the shop that we could modify to lift this elevator.
Before starting work, Adam secures the car at the top of the shaft.
We can't rush it. We don't want to be, doing anything without being in total and absolute control of what's going on. It's nasty. If something goes wrong, somebody could get killed here.
Elevators are designed not to fall. Fortunately, the Mythbusters wrote the book on disabling safety systems. First up, the emergency brake.
When the balls spin around too fast, if the elevator's falling, they lift up and drive out the 2 brakes.
So what you're trying to say is you take the balls off and don't work no more, right?
You got it. Let's see. Anticlimactically enough, I believe I've disabled the entire mechanism by removing this simple pin.
Well, okay.
They're not in free fall mode yet. As well as being cabled to a winch, elevator cars are also linked to a counterweight, which weighs about the same as the car when half full. That keeps the system in balance.
By the way, I bought a dice set off of Amazon.
Just has to go.
It includes a D100 dice. A D100 die, which I'm currently holding.
We are cutting the cable. Stand by.
So much heavier than it looks.
Just last lonely winch cables left. And with the car lowered back to the basement for safety, Adam is about to sabotage the whole
I just lost a die.
I'm going to attach it to this really big shackle, and we'll be able to pull a pin and this little carpentry.
There it is.
The quick release is attached, and the star of the show has been roused from his luxury trend. This promises to be the
It's my D7 die.
Buster's tragically accident-prone life. He'll ride that car down 9 floors, sitting on a pogo stick.
Okay, Buster, this won't hurt a bit.
I have a D3, a D6, 2 D10s,
That will pull the release of
one
the
normal,
launcher
one
when the elevator is
probability,
6 feet from the bottom.
a D20,
About perfect to me. Okay, the rig
a
is stationary.
D50,
It's ready
The
for
Mythbusters are
a
ready.
D100,
They built a giant pogo stick and made a death trap out of a previously safe elevator. As Buster rises towards the penthouse, he surely knows the outhouse will follow. But could he somehow survive?
We're about to drop an elevator. I'm beside myself.
It's all gonna be over in a few seconds. And with a big boom, what else do we ask for?
I think Buster's toast. That's his job. Ready to drop in 5, 4.
Next, will Buster survive the elevator of death? And racing for glory.
You will die in the elevator. You will die.
It is not a good omen, but it's time for the great elevator drop. Can Buster survive a 90-foot fall if he jumps at the last second? Jamie and the team are in the basement. Adam's up top, quick release in hand.
I'm terrified. I'm totally excited. All right, here we go. Ready to drop in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh my god! That blew my face off.
Man, that was intense.
That was such a rush. And this is like this enormous blast of air.
Oh yes.
The overhead camera shows Buster's post launched right on cue. But did it save him?
Togger, Buster Bear. Yeah.
His head's gone.
We've got an arm. I believe this is more damage than we've ever done to Buster in one myth before.
Adam,
I think Buster feels good about a job well done, and he just hopes that we'll put his head on backwards.
By the bottom of the shaft, the elevator and Buster were falling at 53 miles an hour. Buster jumped up 3 feet per second, or 2 miles an hour. Enough to hit the roof, but he still hit the ground at a fatal 51 miles an hour.
I don't know if we can put him back together.
Yeah, Scotty can do it.
We can rebuild him.
Buster will be repaired, but if he was smashed to pieces, how did that elevator operator survive her plunge in the Empire State Building from 10 times the height? Turns out the car was a tight fit inside the shaft, so trapped a cushion of air beneath it, and the cable hanging below coiled into a kind of spring as it fell. Those two factors slowed the car enough to save her life. Alas, fate was not so kind to Buster.
well, you might be weightless relative to the elevator, but you and the elevator are going down at 53 miles an hour. So unless you can jump up at 53 miles per hour, you're dead.
I think we've done all that we can here. I think this myth is definitively and finally busted.
Yeah, that was fun.
Ocean Beach, San Francisco, a field of dreams.
Good day for kicking.
For hovercraft builders, it promises triumph. Or the scent of defeat kicked in their face. But Adam has a secret weapon waiting in the wings, and he can certainly hold his own in the pre-match psych-out.
It certainly is pretty, isn't it?
I like the flame decoration on the, what is that, the garbage can, or is that the cow?
Sorry, that would be inducted fan count.
The horse is 200 yards out and back across sand and water. Team members can push, but Scotty is homesick. And there's Adam's secret weapon. This race is suddenly wide open. Hoverboard leads. But Team Savage has pulled a switcheroo and the water has opened. It floats like it flows. What is this? Jamie's thirst out of the water, but his lift engines have stalled. Fair play being dead. Adam's calling in reinforcements. Is taking its toll. A jockey change and fresh legs could be the difference. After doing everything in his power to fail, Adam has somehow won.
Nice. Gosh, possibly this is the best contest ever in the world.
The thing just still pulled sand. You know, we tested it on a shop floor. Smooth concrete worked great. I'm fairly confident we would have easily won the race. But it's a big scoop.
Maybe academic, but Jamie calls a rematch just to see who would have won without assistance. Dry land, it's no contest. This time it's all Jamie. The Heinemann hoverboard leaves the lily pad flyer in its wake, and a little pride is restored.
They both suck.
But what of the myth? Can you really build a levitation machine out of household items?
Well, Timmy, you know, if you ordered these plans out of a catalog to build a levitation machine out of 3 vacuum cleaner motors, we showed that you could do it, and I actually got about 6 inches of levitation.
Yeah, but in my mind, it's not really levitation. This is a hovercraft.
Well, I'd say for the record, this myth is plausible, but totally impractical.
Yeah, plausible but impractical. Remember, don't try this at home.
We've got years of experience that keeps us safe. 3, 2, 1, go.
The Mythbusters are defying death in the quest for flight.
Not a question of whether we'll get badly hurt, it's how badly hurt.
And we're busy busting myths about ways to legally beat the police speed radar.
Well, didn't disappear.
Are you surprised?
Absolutely.
Who are the Mythbusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
And Jamie Heinemann.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. Ever since we realized we couldn't, humans have wanted to fly like the birds. Gliders, hang gliders, and parachutes have made non-powered flight possible.
I farted on you!
But is it possible for a man to fly accidentally?
Plywood builder. Walk me through this one.
Apparently, a construction worker up on the top of a building was holding on to a 4x8 sheet of plywood on a windy day, and the wind picks him up off the top of the building over the edge. Not only does he manage to hold on to the plywood, but he controls it well enough to be able to land several floors below in the building unharmed.
Cool. Flying then. What's the overall plan here? What are we going to end up doing?
I think Buster's going for a ride with a sheet of plywood, but ultimately, if we can, one of us should take a ride.
You know, if I'm going to take that leap with a sheet of plywood as my only safety, I want to do some very serious testing before we do that. I mean, I'm thinking scale plywood and figure correct weights to scale and really see what kind of lift ratios we get out of this thing before we take that leap.
No matter what you're searching for, you'll probably find it in Jamie's M5 storage system. If you look hard enough, you might even find a mini Buster.
Jamie, there's a guy here who seems kind of perfect.
It's a toy prototype built by Jamie.
I think we should go for the goatee, but that's just because I like the goatee.
Mini Buster is the right height, but is he the right weight?
I'm roughly 6 feet at 180 pounds.
Thought you were 190.
I'm just using some easy. I'm 190. Let's say, stand 85th percentile male, right? 6 feet, 180 pounds. Proportionally, that's 72 inches to 180 pounds. 10 inches tall, 25 pounds. I just did the math.
Ashina!
I need to be
Sumis!
So you're saying that he needs to be built out of depleted uranium?
Do you have some? Is it under D or U over here?
Adam figures he should be calculating volume, not size. So, in fact, Mini Buster is close to being the right weight. The small-scale testing also needs a sheet of mini ply.
Just almost exactly 50 pounds.
We're weighing a piece of plywood so that we can replicate this in a small scale.
But even this tiny piece of ply is proportionately too heavy. Christine reduces its weight by drilling lots of small holes.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. This is a scale replica of what, say, Adam or I with a full-size sheet of plywood would be if we were 10 inches tall.
A high-speed camera will shoot Mini Buster falling in front of a scale rule. A computer will then calculate his drop rate. The test is repeated with the mini ply.
Okay, Christine. So what did we learn with the drop test of the miniature Buster rig?
Well, the plywood slowed him down about 25%.
25% from a fall with nothing, right?
Yes.
A human falling.
Yes.
But 25% slower is still not slow enough. If they tried the plywood myth themselves,
The best that we would be able to accomplish, it sounds to me, is just broken legs and arms, but maybe not a broken back or a smashed skull.
I'm willing to settle for that.
it's too big a risk for a human, but no problem for Buster.
Jumbo.
Once his rubber crash test dummy hands have been swapped for some plywood grabbing clamps.
Shut up!
See whether it actually will work something on it, because Buster happens to be about my size and weight, so looks like it works. Buster, this won't hurt a bit.
So Buster's new super grip robo hands are welded to his arms.
Plywood.
According to the myth, the builder was holding a sheet of 5-ply when he took his unscheduled flight. That's made up of 5 thin sheets of timber compressed together. As well as trying a regular sheet, Adam and Jamie will use the 5 individual sheets to design their own flying rigs.
Well, my thought, first off, was to array them like a car leaf spring to where we extend the surface area.
and of course end up spinning like a helicopter all the way down.
Which might not be a bad thing because helicopters, as we know, land a little softer than just the same shape without the propellers because they're spinning and they get lift from that.
Yeah, but then skydivers also have what they call a death spiral.
Well, there is that.
See, I'm thinking of something totally different. I'm thinking of laminating them in such a way that you actually get a curve out of it.
Sure, the original myth only involves one sheet of 5-ply, but Adam and Jamie really want this to work. So they're using the 5 single sheets to build the most efficient plywood flying rigs they can. Adam coats the cardboard sheets with light spray-on glue and then puts them together in various 5-sheet permutations.
Nurse does it have? Oh, Nurse Savage. So these two represent Jamie and my first ideas about the best ways to slow your descent using 5 plies of plywood. Then I started to think, could you just have a little hole in the center and get a lot more square footage? I'll try this. Then I started moving towards a scoop like this, so it's a kind of bridge between Jamie and I. And then we get to these like radical scoops, all of which can be done out of plywood.
I'm not sure which approach is best. Should we be going towards a parachute or an actual airfoil?
Well, I mean, I think we want to do one of each. I think we want to do one parachute design, like my flying nun thing.
I'm coming, Frankie.
One wing design.
Using the cardboard sheets to design his wing, Jamie attempts to maximize surface area while not compromising strength. The scale prototypes for Jamie's wing and Adam's parachute are complete. Time for a test run.
We're going to do some drop tests with some of the first mock-ups of these flying rigs.
I've got one that kind of looks like the flying nun's habit, and Jamie's got one that's just a broad piece of as much material as he can get with a couple of stringers.
Hopefully we'll have at least some idea what this is going to do before we actually go out and do it in full scale.
First off, Mini Buster gets no help at all.
0.9 seconds.
What's our next
Jamie, wait.
Yeah.
Jamie, wait.
3, 2, 1, go.
1.05 seconds. Backfield drawing board.
Now for Adam's pentagonal parachute design.
That wasn't too bad.
That was the best one yet. That was 1.48 seconds.
But Jamie won't take this lying down. He refines his wing prototype.
Ready when you are.
3, 2.
He twists his wing to make it spin.
1.4.
That's interesting. That's up there with the high performers on the other ones.
Yeah.
So we've decided on the two that we're going to make. One is the hexagonal parachute and the other one is the wing here then, because this actually got almost as high a performance.
All right.
The cardboard scale models have done their job, but the real test will come when the flying rigs go full size. Coming up next, the Mythbusters build team exhibits model behavior as they take on the police speed radar.
We'll never get pulled over for going 6 miles an hour.
And in his quest for the perfect plywood parachute, Adam Savage screws up. Scotty, Carrie, and Tori have been like little Santa's helpers.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
Whenever Adam and Jamie have devised some myth-busting mayhem, it's often been this trio's job to make their boss's twisted visions a reality. This time, however, they're going to be in the driver's seat.
That doesn't look right.
All right, guys. So your first story on your own. What have you got?
Well, what we're going to try to do is legally beat police radar.
Legally, huh? So not the commercially available radar or laser jammers.
Exactly. We've heard all kinds of ideas, like jingling your keys in front of your window.
Disco balls, CD from the rearview mirror, foil on your hubcaps, putting LEDs around your license plate, microwaves, and covering the entire car in foil.
So how are you going to tackle this one? What's the plan?
Well, obviously, we need to get a radar gun. We're also going to try the LiDAR, which is a laser system.
Lift it up a little bit more.
And to test them, the first thing they're going to need is a car. Earl, the Mythbusters Cadillac, should do the job. You remember Earl. He's the car the guys use for target practice.
Man.
Our resident grease monkey, Scotty, has to get him back on the road to recovery.
Stubborn.
While Scotty coaxes the caddy back to life, Tori and Carrie do a little radar research.
You're not working fast enough, dude.
Now, Carrie's packing a normal radar gun. It fires microwaves that hit the target and bounce back at a slightly different frequency. The frequency difference determines the target speed. Tori's wielding a laser speed gun, or LiDAR. It shoots 1,000 samples per second of infrared laser light at the target. Speed is calculated by comparing the distance between each sample.
Before we get to the real car and do tests, we want to do some sample material tests on the RC car. But before we can even do that, we have to make sure that the RC car will show up on the radar gun.
The RC car has a top speed of between 5 and 6 miles per hour. But will the radar detect it?
4, 5. We got a reading.
So the RC car is visible to the radar. Now, to make it invisible.
Right now, making extra shells to the body of the RC car. Now that we know how the radar and the LiDAR work, we're going to do some tests with all our materials. Beautiful. It came out perfectly.
Here's a stupid idea. Adding coffee creamer to milk. Yeah, that didn't work.
Sharp edges. They're also coated with materials that absorb radar. It'll take way too long to coat Earl in all the materials Smith's mentioned. The remote control car is a simple option. But why the blue paint?
Theoretically, it's supposed to change the wavelength of the reflected light on the LiDAR, so we'll see if we can pick this up at different distances. Are you ready? I'm always ready. Okay, go! How fast? 5 miles an hour? 6 topping out when you get to the finish line. We'll never get pulled over for going 6 miles an hour.
Myth number 2 is particular. This stuff's used to make fishing lures. It might fool the fish, but can it rattle the radar?
All right, yellow reflective. Go. Well, the reflective tape is, as far as the RC control is, it's a myth. I'm picking it up a lot
it did
faster
work.
than the control.
Just didn't start
Not
it.
change at all. It's the same thing. Picking it up just at 50 feet.
So far, no good.
The most common myth that we've heard of is the tin foil or aluminum foil. So what we're going to try now is the aluminum foil over the car.
Oven ready. Is it doing anything? I'm actually picking it up sooner. So if you're avoiding a ticket, this is not the way to go.
It says that an LED will mess up the LiDAR detector. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rig up this test with an LED.
Go!
LEDs are infrared, and they're supposed to scramble the LiDAR's infrared beam.
So the LED
LEDs seem to have no effect on the laser.
Well, it didn't have a significant difference, but it was about 10 feet in difference. We might want to try it in the big car as well.
So on full scale, that could be a mile.
The only thing left, a type of paint which is supposed to absorb radar.
It's actually embedded with a bunch of iron. It makes it really heavy. It goes on like frosting. And it's so expensive that if you were actually going to paint...
Get up, Luffy! It's time for round 2!
Paint's so heavy, the RC car won't even go.
Don't give up, Scotty.
You can barely go.
Has this myth been busted before Earl the caddy is out of the garage?
Gatling gun! Excuse me. Oh, son of a bitch, that's right, he stole my snack bowl.
Actually help it hold its shape before we put the struts in.
Jamie's plan is simple but effective. He'll achieve a curve in his wing by placing weights in the center of the plywood sheets. When the ply is glued, the curve should remain.
Also, I just had an idea with my D100.
He's just got to remember those sheets are really fragile. Now they're down to 10 sheets, and there's no room for error. The last sheet of ply is found and slid into place carefully.
All right, cool. Let that down.
Jamie's wing is looking good.
My idea is this.
Narrow strips of ply are used.
Before the end of the video, I'll roll the D100. And whatever number it lands on, I'll announce it.
Finally, the curve is achieved by adding whatever weights Jamie and Christine can find.
There we go.
My teeth are crooked.
I'm actually really happy how this came out. And tomorrow when the glue is set, we'll remove all the wood, and hopefully this will retain as much as possible of this curve. This will give us something to work off of for the final touch, which is the twist. Because I'm going to put a diagonal on this that'll torque this thing a little bit and create a propeller shape, which gives us the spin, and the spin gives us the lift, which slows us down.
Coming up, it's Buster versus Gravity. And there can be only one winner.
I never get tired of doing that.
Plus, a police radar myth is totally blown away. Yeah, it works. The builder fly through the air on a sheet of plywood. Adam and Jamie have glued together 2 plywood flying rigs for Buster to find out. But how will they know if Buster survives?
Jimmy, a key part of this myth is going to be how equal is Buster's impact when he lands. And we have installed auto industry computer accelerometers in him before with greater or lesser degrees of success. We're always accurate with Buster's meter health.
It's getting close to the time limit, so I'd better roll it now.
Build it ourselves.
Exactly.
Inspiration comes to Adam in the form of a light bulb.
But hoping that these light bulbs will end up being the sort of soul of Mythbusters' home engineer. These inside so that they break at an infinite amount of G-force.
And to add a little drama and realism, the bulbs are filled with fake blood. If they break, we'll know it.
Isn't that cool?
57.
Same with its various thoughts. Hey, you're chipping in.
The bulb is sealed and placed inside a pair of aluminum sugar scoops. Ready?
Yeah.
Time for a test drop.
This should be the non-lethal distance. Made it. That's good. All right, I'm going to try the high point. Ready? Wow.
Looks gruesome, doesn't it?
Oh, what a horror show.
The new G-force meter is instantly christened the Ball of Death. The Mythbusters have turned decades of occupational health and safety death descriptions into a figure for brain death.